Alright, let me take you straight into what I saw in day 5 of Brown's training camp, because I'm telling you right now, something shifted. It wasn't just another routine day. It wasn't just another quarterback throwing passes during warm-up. This was different. This was the moment Sanders stepped onto that field and said, without saying a word, "I belong here." From the very first snap, it was like everything slowed down for him. He looked dialed in, locked into the moment, like he'd been preparing for this his whole life. I mean, 8 completions on 11 attempts, 3 touchdowns, and not a single misstep in sight. That's not just a good practice, that's a statement. And while the media was off covering Joe Flacco completing 5-yard checkdowns like he just reinvented the wheel, or Kenny Pickett jogging through vanilla rollout drills, Sanders was back there in the red zone putting on a clinic, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that. The throws weren't just accurate, they were calculated. They were confident. He wasn't out there lobbing up prayers. He was dissecting the defense with timing, with patience, and with a level of control you don't usually see from a rookie quarterback. This guy, he was treating that field like it was his own private chessboard. So, please take 2 seconds to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. First, there was the throw to rookie wideout Luke Floria. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't some highlight reel deep bomb, but it was perfect. He floated that ball just over the shoulder, leading Floria right to the goal line. Floria didn't even have to break stride, just kept walking it in. That's the kind of throw that doesn't show up as spectacular on the stat sheet. But if you've ever played quarterback, you know that's surgical precision. It shows feel, it shows touch, it shows command. Then came the throw to Dean Johnson. Now this was the exclamation point. 2 defenders closing in, a tight window in the back of the end zone, and Sanders fired a bullet that landed right between the numbers. You could hear the crowd gasp. You could literally feel the tension break the moment the ball hit Deontay's chest. It was one of those throws that just shuts everybody up. No debate, no spin. Just pure quarterbacking. And finally, my personal favorite, laser to Cade McDonald over the middle. It was fast, it was sharp, and it was fearless. He made the read, hit his back foot, let it rip. It was one of those throws that said, yeah, I saw the coverage. I saw the safety creeping. I threw it anyway. Because that's what top-tier quarterbacks do. Now, after a performance like that, you'd think the coaching staff would be tripping over themselves to get this guy some first-team reps, right? You'd think ESPN would be buzzing about him, the local media asking questions, Stefanski walking up to him after practice and giving him a pat on the back. But nah, that's not what happened. Instead, nothing. Silence. ESPN's camp tracker confirmed it. While Pickett and Gabriel kept swapping time with the starters, Sanders stayed stuck with the 2s, and Lisa and I get it. Rookies have to earn their keep. You don't just walk into the NFL and get handed the keys. But when you're outplaying every other quarterback on the field, when you're clearly executing at a higher level, at what point do we stop pretending this is about fair competition and admit something else is going on here? Because when you stack Sanders' performance against the rest of the quarterback room, it's not even close. Kenny Pickett threw 2 touchdowns too, but let's be real. One of them nearly got Cade McDonald's spine rearranged on a late throw. Dylan Gabriel managed 1 touchdown, but it was mostly checkdowns and running around in circles until someone got open. And Joe Flacco, don't even get me started. Yeah, he moved the chains a few times, but he never actually scored. And yet, Sanders was the one left out of the post-practice huddle. He wasn't getting the love. He wasn't getting the praise. He wasn't even getting the reps. Why? Because Sanders isn't just facing other quarterbacks. He's facing a system that for whatever reason wants to make his path harder than it needs to be. Maybe it's politics, maybe it's pride. Maybe it's the front office and the coaching staff trying to humble him. But I'll tell you this, much it's not football logic. You want more proof? Something weird is going on. Let's talk about what happened earlier that week. And I still can't believe I'm even saying this. Just days before his breakout practice, Sanders was spotted throwing passes not to his receivers, not to running backs, not even to backups. No, Sanders was tossing roots to equipment staff. Yes, really, trainers, ball boys, guys in hoodies with clipboards. And this wasn't some cute little moment between drills. This wasn't a PR stunt. This was multiple full-blown periods of practice where Sanders was off to the side with not running routes for him. Meanwhile, Pickett and Gabriel were working with the top-tier talent. Full defensive looks, scripted reps, game speed throws, and Sanders, he was playing catch with the Water Boys. It made the rounds on social media. Fans were scratching their heads. Analysts were raising eyebrows, and for Sanders, it was just another day being disrespected. But here's the thing, and this is why I ride for this guy. He didn't pout. He didn't complain. He didn't storm off. He said, you gotta understand we came from HBCU to Power 5. And now, we're here. That right there? That's real. That's resilience. That's the mindset of somebody who's been counted out before and knows how to respond. And honestly, the more I watch this unfold, the more I start asking the hard questions. Was Stefanski even on board with this draft pick? Or was this all Haslam trying to make a move while the GM and head coach looked the other way? Everyone knows Andrew Berry wasn't banging the table for Sanders, so now it's starting to feel like this slow roll strategy is their way of keeping him in his place. Well, guess what? He's not staying there. Because if day 5 was any indication of what Sanders is becoming, then the Browns better get out of their own way before they waste another opportunity. This guy's not just fighting for reps, he's out there earning them against the grain, against politics, against everything. And if he keeps playing like this, they won't be able to hold him back much longer. Trust me, the storm is coming. And Shedeur Sanders is bringing the thunder. Most guys would have folded by now. Most rookies would have lost focus, gotten frustrated. But Sanders, he's different. He stayed locked in, dialed in, like the moment wasn't too big for him. He made Luke Floria look like he belonged with the starters. His timing with Deontay Johnson looked like they'd been working together for years. And that strike across the middle to Cade McDonald, that was backyard football. Pure instinct, no script, just playmaking. No whining, no pointing, just ball. But the more I watch this unfold, the more I have to ask, why is he even in this position? Why is he fighting this hard just to get a fair shot? And the answer, yeah, that probably lives somewhere up in the front office, so please take 2 seconds to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. See, behind the training camp footage, behind the highlights and headlines, there's something else going on in Cleveland. Something political, because this quarterback competition, it's not just Sanders versus Pickett or Flacco or Gabriel. No, this might actually be a standoff between the owner and the guys running the show beneath him. Now here's what I know. Jimmy Haslam, the Browns owner, he wanted Sanders. He didn't just stumble on him either. Haslam watched him break records at Colorado, carry himself like a seasoned vet, and take home the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award. And when Sanders was somehow still on the board in the 5th round, Haslam didn't suggest drafting him. He demanded it. But the GM, Andrew Berry, he wasn't all in. Berry's the guy who leans heavy on measurables and prototypes. He reportedly liked Dylan Gabriel, a hardworking, under-the-radar type. No glitz, no spotlight, no famous last name. Just a guy who fits the mold. But that's the thing, Sanders doesn't fit anybody's mold. He challenges it, and that might be the exact issue here. And Kevin Stefanski, he answers to Berry, and that hierarchy, it matters. Because every quarterback rotation, every drill order, every rep, it all says something. And what it's saying right now is loud and clear. Sanders isn't being handed anything. You look at the way Stefanski's handled the snaps, Gabriel and Pickett getting those first-team looks, Flacco coasting on veteran status, and Sanders, despite lighting up the field, still buried on the depth chart. It's not just about football anymore. It's politics, plain and simple. On day 5, Stefanski even rolled out these new intense drills, O-line versus D-line, trying to crank up the energy before pads come on. But I gotta ask, was that really about competition? Or was that a convenient distraction from the fact that Sanders cooked the defense that day? Let me tell you, he wasn't just good. He was the best quarterback on that field, and it wasn't close. Yet, no bump in reps, no chance with the ones, not even a mention from the coach. And that silence, that's not a slip-up, that's intentional. That's what defiance looks like when a coach isn't bought in. Even when the owner clearly is. Man, if this whole saga sounds familiar to you, you're not wrong. Because this isn't the first time Sanders has been overlooked. It's not the first time he's had to do more just to get half the respect. He didn't fall to the 5th round because he lacked talent. Not when he finished his senior year with one of the most accurate arms in college football history. Not when he brought home national hardware. Not when he outplayed some of the top 10 draft picks. No, he fell because of who his father is. Deion Sanders, he's bold. He's unapologetic, and he never played by the NFL's old school rules. And because of that, his son got judged before he ever took a snap. Too confident, just a product of his dad's fame. More flash than football. That's what they whispered. Meanwhile, guys with weaker arms and padded resumes were getting scooped up ahead of him. It was never about what Sanders couldn't do. It was about trying to humble a family that wouldn't bow down. And now that Sanders is in the league, that cold shoulder hasn't stopped. They had him throwing to equipment staff during OTAs. They iced him out of the first team. Then after he goes 8 for 11 with 3 touchdowns, not a word. No praise, no promotion. Translation. You're not one of us yet. But Sanders doesn't flinch, doesn't complain. He just keeps showing up, focused, composed, ready to prove it all over again. That patience he had in college, it's back. And it's fueling him in Cleveland. Every time he steps on that field, he chips away at the narrative. Because if this was really about talent, Sanders would already be QB1. And here's the twist. The fans see it. They're done being polite about it too. After day 5, the internet exploded. Not from the media, not from reporters, from real fans. Social media lit up. People tagging the Browns, dropping comments under every clip. QB1 is right there, and y'all still playing. Politics. Start the kid. He's him. They're not whispering anymore, they're shouting it. Because fans aren't blind. They watched Flacco dink and dunk like it was 2017. They saw Gabriel doing broken bootlegs. They saw Pickett playing scared. Then they saw Sanders, slinging it, deep shots, perfect placement, no fear, and these fans. They've seen decades of disappointing quarterback play, but they haven't seen this. A young guy, already more precise and confident than the veterans. And they're not buying the rookie wait your turn narrative anymore. Preseason is almost here, and the pressure is mounting. Sanders just had the best quarterback day of camp so far. No trick plays, no inflated stats, just raw talent. And somehow, still no promotion. So you tell me, if playing better than everyone else isn't enough, then what is? Because if Cleveland can't reward performance over politics, then maybe this isn't a quarterback competition at all. Thanks for watching, and see you next one.